What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise, live powered by BetUS here on a Thursday. We actually got Eric for one of these, which should be fun. We got 3 games for picks against the spread, and we also got good injury news for once. We got a Blazer making their season debut and playing for the first time since January 11th. It has been almost 10 months since we've seen Shaedon Sharpe play basketball, but we get to see him play basketball tonight. Eric, how's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good. Happy I was able to make this one. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's nice that A, you're here, and B, we don't have 15 games to pick from. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a chill stream. We're actually going to do picks against the spread last. We're going to talk about everything we're going to talk about first, and then we'll do picks against the spread after that. And the first game we have for picks against the spread is the Blazer game. All 3 games today tip off at 5:10 p.m. Pacific time, so that's why we're doing them last. And then post-game show tonight will be Eric and Rich, aka Rip City Retro, for like the first 45 minutes, and then I'll hop on there too, and it should be a fun post-game show. And this is a game that the Blazers might be able to win and move to 4-5. That's almost 500. Eric, have you looked at the standings in the past like 24 hours? They're kind of absurd, just in terms of the NBA.
Yeah, it's really jumbled.
Well, in the East,
Well, the East, yeah,
place is 4-4. You only
Yeah.
have 2 teams above 500 in the East, and then in the West, 11th place is 4-4. The West is much, much better than the East. Much, much deeper than the East. You know, you got Boston, you got Cleveland, and then the rest of the East is just a mess. You know, the next 2 teams, or 2 of the next 3 teams were like New York, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee. Philadelphia and Milwaukee look awful right now. I believe they're both 1-6. Maybe Milwaukee's 1-5. I forget, but both of them have horrible records. So it's just some chaos early season in the NBA, which is always fun. It's always fun, and it's just crazy that the Blazers would be 1 game out of 3rd place in the East right now. So we'll see what they do tonight. But let's just talk about what everybody wants to talk about, right? Unless you want to lead into it.
I do want to say one thing about the standings. Taylor Packer says, little we know the 2025 Bucks pick will get us Cooper Flag, LOL. It actually would not, because Cronin couldn't get that pick unprotected. He had to have it top 4 protected. And that pick's been traded many times, obviously. But even if we kept it, it would not get us Cooper Flag because it was top 4 protected. And despite the Brooklyn Nets owning that pick now, it would go to the New Orleans Pelicans if it's top 4. So, yeah.
Yeah, you got OKC owning the Clippers pick. You got New Orleans owning the Milwaukee pick if it lands in the top 4. There's been a ton of draft pick trades in previous years, but we haven't really seen the fallout until pretty much this season is when you start to see the Clippers picks to OKC. The Clippers picks to OKC in the past haven't been high picks, but this year, after losing Paul George, Kawhi hurt, right? That could be a high pick. You got like Atlanta and San Antonio, their initial DeJounte Murray trade is starting to take place. You just got a lot of chaos in terms of draft pick trades this year, which is going to be very interesting to follow along with on Tankathon as the standings sort themselves out. If you just look at like the 15th through 18th, you got 2 San Antonio picks that have been traded their way, 1 OKC, 1 Brooklyn, all pick trades. I would say outside of the lottery, you have 10 of the 16 picks that have been traded. And then in the lottery right now, the Lakers pick going to Atlanta, the Clippers pick going to OKC, this Milwaukee pick going to New Orleans. It's at the top of the draft right now. And then you have a ton of picks that are like somewhat protected, like Philadelphia's pick is protected 1-6. I forget who that goes to, but
OKC.
OKC, man. So basically you start to see OKC and San Antonio and some of these teams start to have their future draft capital play out, and this is a really good draft to have it, so it's just going to be fascinating to see what the draft order is like with all these trades.
Side note, I could not believe this, Tori. Do you know in the NFL, the 2025 draft, there isn't a single team that's traded their first round pick?
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But also, you're not allowed to protect picks in the NFL, are you?
No, you can't protect him, but yeah, it's like every team owns their own first round pick. It hadn't happened in like I think it was like 22 years or something since it happened before.
Like going into the season, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still possible that a team
Well,
could.
the trade deadline is done, yeah.
No, I know,
So,
but like the draft is several months
yeah,
after
yeah.
the season, so like it could still happen. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that all the teams own their own picks. I can't imagine that being the case in the NBA because like some teams have like no picks controlling for years.
Yeah, man. If I just pray that OKC doesn't have like top 8 odds. You know how painful that would be? Like, thank goodness for Norman Powell because the Clippers are 4-4 somehow.
Yeah, thank goodness.
So,
All right,
let's
yeah.
let's talk about Sharpe. So, if you guys want a chance to spin a giveaway wheel on November 10th, that post-game show, you can guess Shaedon Sharpe's stats on our Instagram post. It's the top link in the description box below. I'll also post it in the chat. You can go guess his points, assists, rebounds on that Instagram post. And if you are the closest, you get a spin on our giveaway wheel on Sunday. You must follow the Instagram page, so make sure you go check that out. Go follow that. But Shaedon Sharpe, he was initially listed as questionable today, but with the way the broadcasters were talking about him last game, like his return is very soon, and then him getting listed as questionable, I had a feeling he was going to play, and that is indeed the case. There was a tweet from Casey Holdall showing Shaedon Sharpe shooting and shoot around. Jumper looks good, and he's ready to play. And unlike Robert Williams, who was cleared last game and didn't play, I expect that Shaedon Sharpe will get some minutes tonight. And it's going to be interesting to see, like, okay, minutes restriction, like, I don't know if there's been anything reported on that yet, but you have Banton coming off his huge game. Like, is he going to see any minutes? And, of course, you have Kamara. You got Robert Williams versus Klingon. You're going to start seeing some of the minutes battles that we expected entering the season start to play out as this team gets healthier. Mm-hmm. And I think, they'll probably ramp Sharpe up slowly, so I wouldn't expect him to play a ton tonight, but we're going to finally see it play out in terms of some of the conversations we had about rotational minutes before the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Numbers crunch, right?
Yeah.
The math is going to be very hard for Chauncey to work out, especially if you do have performances like Banton coming off the bench playing well. I mean, it's a lot easier if you have, Chris Murray come in for 5 minutes. He doesn't do anything to not play him in the second half. But yeah. Issues with my stream, but yeah, I mean, we've known this for a while now. If everyone's healthy and everyone's playing decently well, and you want to give the minutes to the guys you want to make sure you're developing, I don't see how everyone plays. So it will be fascinating to see who Chauncey decides to go with or not.
Yeah, little YouTube problem there. I'm uploading stuff to the cloud right now. That might be why that happened. But I am hardwired, and there shouldn't be any issues with internet because I pay $100 a month for my internet.
The stream's still been really choppy. The video.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me cancel. I didn't realize uploading stuff to the cloud on my laptop would mess with the internet this much on this stream. But yeah, so Holdall did confirm that Chauncey said Shaedon will get minutes tonight. Okay.
They also said he was coming off the bench, so he's definitely not starting.
Yeah, did not expect any change to the starting lineup. Even if he was fully healthy, I don't feel like they're going to change the starting lineup because Tamani has been arguably the Blazers' best player this year. Danny Avdija, demoting him isn't going to do anything for his confidence or his game, and he's a good player that hasn't quite lived up to how good he is, so you don't want to demote him, of course. And then Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, they're not going to bench a veteran that ultimately they're going to try and trade who's making $30 million a year or more. And then Anthony Simons, obviously they're not going to bring him off the bench. So I feel like, this lineup, this starting lineup is kind of set in stone if healthy. And even if Sharpe comes back and gets some buckets and that sort of thing, I don't think the Blazers are going to switch up their starting lineup if they're competitive. Now, if they go on a big losing streak and the starters are starting games slow and starting second half slow, then yeah, maybe you need that spark. Maybe they switch things up. But ultimately, I think they like the starting lineup. They like the length with it. And then you got Scoot and Sharpe as some dynamic young scorers, athletic guys off the bench to switch up the pace of a game. And I think that's how they're going to approach things, So will Scoot, will Sharpe play enough minutes? In our opinions, I don't know. That's why you got to watch the postgame show, and we have to see how it plays out. But I kind of like bringing him off the bench and getting him back in slowly because he hasn't played Blazer basketball in 10 months. So there's going to be some rust there. He's going to need to get a feel for NBA basketball again. And if you're throwing him out there playing him 32, 33 minutes a night as a starter, I feel like it's a little bit more pressure than necessarily he needs right now. I think it's easier to just play him, maybe 20 minutes tonight is what I would expect. And hopefully he can get a feel for things and work back in slowly and not force too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you make him earn, if we're going to have any conversation about him starting, I think, one, you have to show you're healthy enough, and two, he's got to earn it. Because you mentioned Tamani. I mean, what kind of message would that send if someone who is improving as much as Tamani's improving and showing as much as he can, especially on the defensive end? I saw some metrics today with him being one of the top 10 isolation perimeter defenders in the NBA right now. And he was actually, I think he was third or fourth on that list. So really good progression there. He's working hard on defense. He's obviously working hard in practice to earn that starting spot over Scoot to begin with. And not that Scoot's not working hard. I'm just saying they're very pleased with the way Tamani's been progressing. And to then just bench him, I just think that sends the wrong message to the team, especially, I mean, you can argue it, I guess, but I think he's outplayed both Denny and Jeremy most of the season. Yeah. So, for him to be the one they take out over those other two, especially, that wouldn't make sense for me because, I think Sharpe, if he comes in and starts scoring 20 points a game off the bench and is looking really dominant and the player like we all hope he'd be in a few weeks, then you might want to have a conversation of how we can get him more minutes. But I think right now you just got to let him ease back into it. Like you said, it's been over a year or almost a year since he played basketball in an NBA game. I don't think there's any rush to get him playing major minutes right away or anything like that.
Yeah, ultimately, I think the rotation needs to be those two off the bench playing 28 to 30 minutes a night in the long run. Not right away with Sharpe, but in the long run. And when you start Tamani at the 2, you can shift them up pretty easily. So it's like, okay, you can shift them up to the 3. You can shift Denny up to the 4. You have positional versatility with your starting lineup. So you could sub in Sharpe and Scoot 5 minutes into a game for 2 of the 3 forwards, and maybe it switches on a night-to-night basis based on who starts the game well. Because you got, Jeremy, Denny, Tamani, they're switchable in terms of their positions, their roles, that sort of thing. And I think that's how they move forward and make this work with getting those guards enough minutes without shaking up the starting lineup. And that's how you cover the minutes, and you basically have your point guard, shooting guard, small forward minutes all covered there. Grant's playing the 4, right? And maybe Denny slides up and plays some 4. Basically, the only other prominent bench spot you have left is the backup center, and then it's like, okay, Klingon versus Robert Williams. Are you going to try and showcase Robert Williams, and does that mean you're not playing Klingon, right? It's kind of crazy because they basically have 7. They have a top 7, Eric, when healthy, that should all be playing at least 28 to 30 minutes a game, and some guys will play a little bit more. That lends itself to kind of a prominent 8-man rotation where that 9th guy is like on the fringe. I think this knocks Chris Murray out of the rotation. I think this knocks Ryan Rupert out of the rotation. I don't see how you get Banton enough, like any minutes, with Scoot and Sharpe coming off the bench and Kamara starting at the 2. I think Thibault how do you get him minutes? Like you don't have enough minutes to play Scoot and Sharpe what they should ultimately play off the bench, to play Thibault, Banton, Jabari Walker, Ryan Rupert, Chris Murray. Now, of course, this organization has always been injury prone, and that clears up minutes, just like we've seen some of those guys that I named get a chance early in the season because of some of the injuries the Blazers have dealt with. But I think that's the road that they're trending down, and I think if there is a part of me that feels like Chauncey will try and force a 9 to 10 minute rotation, and it will result with certain guys not playing as many minutes as I feel they should. But it's like you should not be cutting Sharpe's minutes in the long run so you can play Chris Murray more, right? You should not be cutting Scoot's minutes so you can play Banton more. Like it's just not going in the right direction, in my opinion. So the minutes conversation is going to be super fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you can find a way to play different lineups or do something with Robert Williams getting a few minutes at the 4, but the minutes just aren't there, so I don't know how you do that. And Jonathan Evers brings this up. I don't know if you saw last night, but J.J. Redick was visibly frustrated with D'Angelo Russell in the game. After he got blocked on a 3-point shot, went back to the bench, sat down, and was jumping and slamming his chair into the ground, like throwing a little temper tantrum over there. So that might reinvigorate some trade talks with the Lakers. I really don't know how to make it work, because if they trade Russell, they need a point guard still. And so you're going to have to find maybe a third team that has some sort of capable guard that would also be included. I don't know how to make it work, but Lakers are definitely a team to watch for. I don't know how long they're going to go being frustrated with D'Lo before they just cut bait with him.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to the salary gets a little confusing, but maybe like a Brogdon, D'Angelo Russell to Washington, they get, some draft capital for taking him on, maybe buy him out, and Brogdon goes to LA. It's just how does LA match Brogdon and Jeremy Grant is the big question there. So, you're talking Jared Vanderbilt, you're talking some other names, but yeah, that's like you take Jeremy Grant out of the occasion and you start Denny at the 4, Tamani at the 3, right? You open up a starting spot for Scoot or Sharpe, and then you clear up some of those minutes where if you want to give Ryan Rupert spot minutes, Chris Murray spot minutes, whoever, you have the ability to do so. So if healthy, this team is just waiting for a trade in order to clear up some minutes, because there's going to be some forgotten guys when healthy in this rotation. So it'll be fun to see what that looks like, man. You want to hop into picks against the spread? I'm sure you're excited to take a look at these standings.
Yes, but I also, just want to end this by saying I can't wait to see Sharpe play, man. It's been too long. I'm really excited that he's back.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he's rusty, have some patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also that. I always preach patience, and this is a scenario where he might not look like Shaedon Sharpe for a few games, and that's completely fine. He hasn't played basketball anytime recently, so.
I can't wait for him to have a bad shooting game tonight and Banton not to play, and then the people who are saying that Banton's better than Sharpe, and we shouldn't even play Sharpe,
It's just, what's funny though is it's such a Scoot versus Ant thing for so many people that I feel like that would not be said about Sharpe. Sharpe's kind of the golden boy, right? So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. It'll be fun, man. Let's take a look at the picks against the spread standings. As Eric, I know why you showed up for this stream. It's because you continue to absolutely dominate us. 28-13, a 5-game lead this early in the season is actually kind of crazy. What's been the secret to your success?
Well, really, I've just been. I think we mentioned this on the last stream I wasn't a part of. I had some weird picks or whatever. I've just been, for the most part, taking the points a lot. There's been some big point spreads, especially teams at home catching big point spreads, and I've just been just taking the points in those situations, and it's worked out pretty well. And
yeah, I mean, look at the you've picked the underdog like 62% of the time, and it's worked out for you. I'm in second. I've picked the underdog almost 60% of the time. So that is the secret so far this season, is picking some of these underdogs, right? Because everybody else is picking the favorite more often than not, and it's not going so well. It's not going so well. You know, it's been interesting to watch these standings play out, and we even have a graph, like an over, under, above 500, below 500 graph that we'll take a look at in a future stream just to see how things progress. But Eric's just been on the up and up, but I'm trying to stay close, and chat's trying to stay close. It's the 3 OGs for picks against the spread, Eric. Me, you, and chat.
Dude, the Spurs were covering that spread on my double down too. I was going to go 12-4 and be even better. I think you had the Spurs too, so that would have helped keep you ahead of chat. But I was so frustrated. They got outscored like 18-40 in the fourth quarter or something, and lost that spread. But yeah.
Yep. Last Monday, best day was you at 10-6. You had some 9-7s. You had some 9-7s from Chat, Crushables, and Zach. Worst day was Jackson 4-12, Javon also 4-12. With that being said, let's jump into our first game. And it's always fun to be able to start it with the Blazers, because normally they're not the earliest game of the day, but we've got 5:10 p.m. tip-off times. The Spurs, despite Shaedon Sharpe's return, are 4-point home favorites. Eric, do you have injuries for us today? Because it's a little different this year.
Yeah, for the road team, the Blazers, believe it or not, they only have one person listed on the injury report. Can you believe that, Tori? Matisse Thybulle is out. That's it. Pretty crazy. For the Spurs, though, they're without Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, Harrison Ingram, David Duke Jr., and Riley Minix.
Oh, they got Riley Minix, huh?
Yeah.
My March Madness super sleeper that did not come through for me last year.
All three of their G League guys are in the G League, it looks like, but they got...
Yep.
Main guys are Vassell, Sohan, and Trey Jones.
I was muted when you were reading off injuries because I was typing, but yeah, the Blazers might have a clean injury report soon because Thybulle might be back soon, which would be absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. Absolutely crazy. Let's see here. So I don't know what I want to do yet. We'll see what the picks are. Crushables is going with the Spurs. We got Steven going with the Blazers. Steven also said, watch, the Blazers are going to win tonight, and all these fans are going to get false hope. That's Steven's take. I don't really disagree with it. If the Blazers win tonight, it'll be fun. It'll be hype. But, it's a struggling San Antonio team. Rockets put Şengün on Chris Paul. Do the Blazers put Ayton on Chris Paul? That'd be kind of funny. Anyway, Eric, I'll let you get the Discord picks and the chat picks to me. By the way, 503 is going Blazers.
All right. Zach is going Blazers.
Okay.
Jackson is Blazers.
Yeah, just rattle them off. My computer's fast right now.
Arrowmancer Spurs.
Alrighty.
In chat, we've got Javon going Blazers.
Let me guess, we have no Connor.
Brendan Blazers. Connor, your Portland Trail Blazers.
Javon went Blazers, or?
Yeah.
Connor went Blazers, and who else went Blazers?
Brendan is Blazers.
Cool. And then we need Trevin, who I think said his picks in chat, but I'm not sure.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Spurs, man.
I don't see Trevin's picks, but he was in chat.
Trevin's going Blazers. I just saw it. All right. And who are you going with, Eric?
I'm gonna go Spurs as well.
Alrighty. So me and Eric up top going Spurs. Crushables is in 4th, and I believe Aeromancer's middle of the pack. We're going Spurs. Everybody else going Blazers. So we got a good old 9v4. Game number 2, you have the Milwaukee Bucks. Dame's Milwaukee Bucks. You know what's funny is last game was a battle of 3 and 5 teams. This game is a battle of 1 and 6 teams. The Bucks versus the Jazz. The Bucks are 8.5-point home favorites.
All right, so it looks like Giannis is going to play. Get some updated injuries here. Side note, Andre Jackson is going to be in the starting lineup ahead of Gary Trent Jr.
Yep. So we'll see if that change helps them out.
All right. Middleton out. Giannis was listed as questionable, but everything is saying he's going to play. And then the Jazz. I'm having to do injuries a different way, but I don't see. Like Markkanen's out, right?
You know what's funny is we already have 13 votes in the poll. They don't even wait for injuries.
Oh no, Taylor Hendricks is out. Clarkson, Collier, Markkanen all available.
Yeah.
Potter, Micah Potter, Jason Preston also out there in the G League.
I'm gonna go Utah. I'm just gonna take the points. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll think about it. I don't know. Like, how much do I base it off Milwaukee this year, and how much do I base it off of how I thought Milwaukee was gonna be this year? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing about this time of year. We got Bucks for crushables. Feel free to give me picks whenever. We got Bucks for 503.
Trevin is going Bucks.
Okay.
No one else has. Oh, Javon said Bucks as well. No one else has given their picks in chat.
Steven is Jazz.
We got Bucks for Zach. Bucks for Jackson. And Jazz for Aeromancer.
Alrighty.
I'm going to go with the Bucks.
This is a tough one.
Yeah,
I'm not
tough.
doubling down on this one, that's for sure.
I said I was never gonna bet on the Bucks if they didn't cover the spread last week or last picks against the spread, and they covered. So still have a little bit of faith that they're going to turn it around with Giannis playing. I do sound reluctant because I have Connor's Bucks.
Yeah, and then we're waiting on Javon, and chat is going Bucks. Chat, we can do a chat poll for your double down.
Javon's Bucks.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the Jazz have length, Walker Kessler, John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, and that's how you defend Giannis, right? So that is why I'm going to go Jazz, just that matchup. It's another 9v4 in favor of the Bucks. And then game number 3, you got the Chicago Bulls hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are 9.5-point road favorites.
All right. The Bulls are without Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine. Trying to find an updated Timberwolves injury report. Rudy Gobert questionable. Oh no, that was a few games ago. I don't see anyone on the injury report.
Yeah, chat, the injury reports are a little tougher this season. I'll start putting in picks that I have been sent while you search for that, and then I'll post the chat poll. We got Wolves for Steven. We got Bulls for Crushables.
Yeah, I don't see anyone. If anyone in chat knows any injuries for them.
Yep, Wolves for 503.
Wolves for both Trevin and Javon.
Okay. I'm gonna go Wolves.
Bulls for Connor. Wolves for Brendan.
Bulls or Wolves?
Bulls for Connor. Wolves. Timberwolves for Brendan. Sorry.
Cool, cool.
What
are you going with?
Clear. Would you get Zach as Timberwolves?
No, not yet.
Bulls for Jackson. Timberwolves for Aeromancer. This is one of those home team catching a lot of points for me, so if I'm going to stick with my theory so far, I'm taking the Bulls.
Alright. Eric is going Bulls. And chat is also feeding the Eric theory, and they're going Bulls. So we got a... Whoops, wrong logo. We got an 8v5 in favor of the Timberwolves. 2 9v4s and an 8v5. Time for double downs. I don't know. I don't want to double down on anything. Also, I still got to get the last year's standings out of this graphic. It's just gross stuff, man.
Yeah, we don't want that showing chat first.
Yeah, facts. What's Arrow's double down if you have it?
Arrow's double down will be the San Antonio Spurs.
Spurs, alright.
And then Zach and Jackson have the same double down whenever you're ready.
Yep.
Bucks.
I could double down on the Spurs for like the 3rd time this year. I think I'm 1-1.
Yeah.
And my phone died. That's not good.
Bucks for Javon.
No, I will be back. My phone is dead, and the I can't read the text, so it's not good. So enjoy yourself.
All right. Game's starting about 40 minutes, which means I don't know how far into the game Sharpe will check in. Hopefully sometime in the middle of the first quarter. Get our first look at him this season.
Alrighty. The cool thing about this desk is I have like a power strip built into it, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Trevin says that was the furthest away you've ever been visible on stream from.
Yeah, the shot out the door goes all the way kind of to the back of the house. You can see a little bit of kitchen and all that. So, all right, give me the other double downs when my phone revives itself.
We got Bucks for Javon. We got Wolves for Brendan. Blazers for Connor.
A little too fast there.
Sorry.
What for Brendan?
Wolves. Timberwolves.
Okay. And then
Blazers for Connor.
okay. Good there.
All right, who else are you missing?
Trevin.
Trevin is Timberwolves.
Okay, what are you going with?
I am going to stick with the Bulls.
You know what? This is where I make up ground on first place. I'm going Timberwolves.
All right.
Me v. Eric. Oh, I should have done a chat poll. I'll do a chat poll. Do a chat poll. Okay, 3 options you guys got. Chicago plus 9.5 versus Minnesota. You got Milwaukee minus 8.5 versus Utah, and you got Portland plus 4 at San Antonio. Those are your 3 options. Chat, there's your poll.
I'm feeling an 0 for 4 night. Let's go.
You're feeling an 0 for 4 night? That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I can't remember if I agreed with you on the other 2 games, like Minnesota and Chicago.
We had the Spurs.
We had the Spurs, and then...
Did you take Bucks? No, you took Jazz, right?
I took Jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go 3-1.
That would be nice.
You take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be 2 games back after that.
My heater has to end sooner or later.
I know. That's what I'm banking on with this double down. Crushables double down is the Bucks. Ding dong. All right, you got Stevens double down is the Blazers. Again. And 503's double down is the Wolves. And then chat's double down to round things out is Portland. Overwhelming percentage of the vote there. So you got 3 double downs on Portland. That's Chat, Steven, and Connor. They're going against Aeromancer, who double down on the Spurs. You got 4 double downs on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Nobody double down. Or no, 4 double downs for the Milwaukee Bucks. Nobody double down on the Jazz. And then you got 4 double downs on the Timberwolves against Eric. Because he took the other team, he took the Bulls. So
I kind of like this. It's spicy.
Yeah, interesting little layout here. I think somebody's definitely going to go 4-0, and somebody's definitely going to go 0-4. We'll see how it shakes out though next Monday for picks against the spread. Alrighty, so post game show tonight. Rich will be there in my place for like 45 minutes, and then I'll join. It'll be a 3-man panel. Tomorrow is shot night, Eric. So what I think we do, and we can do this after our post game show, and we'll do it and like upload it to TikTok or something, or IG reel or something. Okay, we draft players for like most points. Okay, so we draft like 4 players each, and we can snake it, right? So you pick 1st, 4th, 5th, 8th, and I pick like 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 7th. And we pick 4 players. Whoever's players have the least amount of points has to take a shot. And I think we can do it with like that, with assists, with still kind of figuring it out. But like we'll basically do something like that where we draft players. Maybe just Blazers, maybe both maybe players from each team. But then again, injury report, like who knows? It'll probably just be Blazers because they're healthy. And then based on how things go in tomorrow's game, we'll have to take a shot, and we'll just upload the video of us drafting them to like TikTok, just a little 2-minute TikTok video. So make sure you follow our TikTok. Yeah. Does that sound like a plan, Eric?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I got nothing going on other than the game and the stream, so.
Yep. So that'll be a fun way to do it. That's how we'll plan on doing like our shot nights, is just drafting players, and maybe one of them will be like dunks, rebounds, I don't know. We'll find a little criteria, and then on a post-game show, we'll torture ourselves. So that'll be no, I'm just kidding, YouTube. No torture here, okay? Anyway, shout out to BetUS. If you want in on this spread line, chat, since you're so confident in the Blazers as 4-point underdogs against the Spurs, you doubled down on them with like 75% of the vote. You can get in on the spread line with BetUS for tonight's game. And we'll see how Shaedon Sharpe does, and we'll talk about it on the post-game show, which should be a lot of fun. Anything else, Eric?
Yeah, if the NBA wants to know why ratings suck, you're on a Thursday night going up against Thursday Night Football, a pretty good game with the Bengals and Ravens playing, And you start all 3 games not only at the same time, but it's also at the same time the Thursday night football game starts. Great job scheduling.
I mean, there is only 3 games today, and there was how many yesterday? So they are definitely trying to limit it.
Spread them out, man. Spread them out.
Yeah.
Have a 7:30 game, a 5 o'clock game. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Anyway, looking forward to tonight's post-game show, and it'll be like a light stream, pretty much no graphics for the first 40 minutes or so, and then I'll come in and I'll bring the graphics, okay? So that's what I do. I bring the graphics. Anyway, we're out of here. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you later tonight, and until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!